Hello, Paterson. This is Serrano Keith Baldio. So tonight I got an email from my attorney that the judge in Union City is finding me $79,000 and another $50,000 to punish me for protecting my wife. It all stems from when Andrew Saya, the PI, said, the Passaic County former police chief said Saya was the one behind the PI, Harry Melber, to go after my wife. And when they went after my wife from Paterson, I was supposed to remain quiet. I was supposed to remain silent. I wasn't supposed to speak up about it. And we wanted evidence. They hid thousands of hours of videos of evidence where I could have proved my comments. All my comments says op-ed at the end of it. My newspaper said opinion. All the stories are the opinion. There's two entities here. My newspaper that never published anything, the judge dragged it in. That should have made me suspicious that they were targeting my newspaper. And then what I said on my Facebook page that has nothing to do with NJ Pulse News. So the attorney, what's his name, John Olsen, consistently lied. NJ Pulse said it. This is NJ Pulse. NJ Pulse said it. NJ Pulse said it. But NJ Pulse never said anything. It was my Facebook page. My wife came home crying, and I'm supposed to remain silent. But remember, Judge Caposello in Paterson says everywhere I had a case, he owns it, he can go after it. And he was mad because I filed ethics charges against him. So I know he called up all the judges because he said so. He brought all my cases back in, but he couldn't get that case, and I confronted him about that case. They created this case 6 months later to target me, to fine me. They did it before. They used court appearances to fine me $6,700. But I beat that. I beat that because I prayed about it. I prayed, and God says, you can beat it. File an appeal, and I got rid of it. They are punishing me. Now, this has nothing to do with Harry Melber. He's just a puppet. They're using him because they hired him to go after her. I wrote something and I said, if somebody spit in your wife's face, what would you do? A lot of you said you'd go to jail, you'd be arrested. They went after my wife and they hid the videos. That judge never asked for the video. Never. He argued with my lawyer that I was negligent. It's free speech. The Constitution says if I wanted to speak up, if you went after my wife, I can do that. Some of you did. You said you'll break his leg, you'll go to the grave, you'll kill that man if he went after his wife. I didn't say any of that. I just said he went after her, it would have caused her death. And I specifically said Andrew Saya and Charles Florio was involved. And they ducked that. They ducked that out of the complaint. So I'm going to be filing ethics charges against John Olsen and criminal charges. I can't file it down there because you know what? That same judge and his friends are going to call up each other to get rid of it because they are after me. They've been after me for 10 years. And finally, they thought they got the $6,700 stuck on me. But I beat that because God was on my side. And this is another way to punish me. They were looking for this, and I knew it. And when my attorney said, settle with the guy, I thought about it. And my wife said, settle with him. But I said, you know what? At the price of giving up my free speech. Paterson officials told that guy to tell him, sign something that says for $25,000 penalty, you'll never use his name again, or never talk about what they did to my wife. They would target her, hurt her, almost cause her death because like Princess Diana, she could have run the road and got killed. And that's what I said. And instead of saying, well, the guy had free speech. He exercises free speech. He exercised what he thought, which is part of the Constitution. They took the entire Constitution off the table and says, he was negligent, let's teach him a lesson. You know what punitive damages mean? It means let's teach him a lesson. That's why they added the punitive. Clearly, it's to teach me a lesson. And Judge Caposello says he knows all the judges, even in the Supreme Court, even in the Appellate Court. So it came from them. But Mr. John Olsen, I'm going to file ethics charges against you with the Bar Association for lying consistently, and I am going to put that on the internet. It won't be defamation, it will be the truth. You lied. You consistently lied. And I'm going to tell everybody in New Jersey and show them how you lied. You want to damage my reputation? You want to damage my newspaper, my free speech? I'm going to fight that. I'm going to fight it. You wanted a war, Mr. Olsen. You did this. So let the public knows how you lied. And I outlined how you lied to the judge. And now I'm going to tell that to the public. It's in court records. So you can't say I'm defaming me. It's in court records. I'm going to say, court records show that I said you lied. That's not defamation. That's quoting court records. So when anybody Googles your name, they're going to see how you treated me, how you treated my wife, how you targeted my wife, how you lied with them against my wife. As for Harry Melber, I bought his name. I own his name. And if it's going to cost me, for now, it's just now, $79,000, $50,000, punitive. How do you punish a newspaper for defending his wife? President. But all this is going to be on the internet. I'm just learning. I'm going to pack the internet with what they did. And I'm going to contact the national newspapers to show what they did to me. The name John Olsen, the name Harry Melber, and the other judges, lawyers are involved in this, and Andrew Sayer and the rest of the Paterson officials, all of them is going to be on the news. There's no way this should be kept secret. All I did was protect the people of Paterson, and they targeted me for it. And I protected my wife, and they targeted me again. 5-6 months later is when he filed a suit, because they were looking, and they were watching. And you know what? They tampered with my Facebook page. Yeah, that's in my complaint. The judge never cared to ask me if they tampered and they changed. And when we subpoena Facebook and they show who went in there and changed it, how did I get fined? How's this happening to me? No newspaper in this country has ever gone through what I have gone through for a city. And then they went after my wife and I couldn't even speak about it. And then they sued me and they plotted. All the judges, Phil Murphy, they said, was behind getting Judge Caposello to block the criminal charges against the... So look at the cases. On their side, criminal charges against Sayer, dismissed. Criminal charges against Elsa Mantilio's husband, dismissed. Criminal charges against Linda Garrett, dismissed. Criminal charges against the 5 officials, dismissed. Criminal charges against Bill McCoy, refused to file. Criminal charges against Mike Jackson, dismissed. Everything on their side was dismissed and called in by Judge Caposello, and everything on my side, they wanted to stick me with it. This is the corruption that I'm in the middle of. Mr. Harry Melber, you want this? I'm filing bankruptcy, so you won't see a dime. But your name and the name of John Olsen and those other 2 lawyers and the lies that you told will be out there, will be all over. And forever, as long as I live, I'm going to make sure that people understand what you did to my wife, Mr. Olsen. It's you. You did this. You did this. The night before this, I contacted you and I asked you, let's settle this. Because I knew what the judges were going to do. I knew. As the sheriff officer told me, Judge Caposello is going to tell that judge to go after you. Doesn't matter if he's a Republican or Democrat. They want to punish you because you filed ethics charges against Judge Caposello. You filed criminal charges against Judge John Miola. You filed criminal charges again against Judge Caposello. And he runs all the judges. They're going to use this as revenge. And they use it as revenge. This is revenge. So if I took this to the Attorney General's office and if I started in Texas right here and I said double back this and get someone independent to investigate the connections here, we will find them. You will see what Judge Caposello did. And Mr. Judge Caposello, if you're listening to this, all those cases that you tampered with and then ruled this against me, you've angered me even more. Now I'm going after it. I'm going after every case that you tampered with. You and Judge Miola, from Andrew Sayer, the 7 council members, Bill McCoy that you neglected, the other cases with Sayer, all of them you pulled, all of them, 8, altogether there were 15 charges to 25 charges. All you pulled and you got rid of. but you conspired, or they conspired, to bring this case against me. And I tried to talk to Harry Melber and his attorney, John Olsen, but they continued to lie. When they wanted me to sign the $25,000 thing, the night before this, I contacted Michael, my attorney, and he said he wants nothing to do with this. And I wrote a letter to the judge, and John Olsen, just to be spiteful, sent that letter back to my attorney just so he could turn against me. I was alone. I had nobody to help me. As a newspaper president, when you're fighting for an entire city, and then when you're in trouble, everybody run away from you. Sounds familiar? Remember Jesus Christ? He fought for an entire city. And the night he was to be prosecuted, everybody ran away. The night before this went back before Judge, what's his name? Less newish. His name is on there. I tried to deal with John Olsen. I wrote him a letter. He ignored me because he knew what the judges were going to do. Somebody is talking to somebody. I was alone. My own attorney had abandoned me. I was alone. And now they told me for my free speech and my rights of the press that specifically said op-ed, op-ed, op-ed. Everywhere was opinion and editorial. My entire newspaper said, if you read this, it's only opinion. How in God's name is a judge finding me $75,000 and $50,000 for my opinion that I said was an opinion? Because it was a plan and a plot they've been trying to get me for 10 years. And that's what the police chief, the former police chief in Passaic said. Every Facebook page thing you write, they're looking to see who are you in conflict with, and they're looking to use it against you. Harry Melber had no cause to sue me after going after my wife. The videos are missing. We're going to get those videos. And when I get those videos, because remember, when he went after Joey Torres, there was thousands of other videos. Where are those videos? He hid it from the court. It's a criminal charge to hide evidence. He hid it in my wife's trial. He hid it here. The videos where he was going after her, that made me make the comment. The stress that I went through with Paterson made me make the comment. I was alone. I felt alone. I was fighting for people who never had my back. When I was asked to come back for a trial, I asked Paterson to help me fund that trip, and not one person helped me. I fought for an entire city. I fought the corruption. I fought the incompetence. In India, just to save my wife and protect her, and we had to leave New Jersey. None of that was considered. I was alone. I felt alone, beaten, rejected, neglected, and now crucified. And there's nobody around me to help me. Even my attorney tonight says, because I said some things about him to the judge, that Olsen intentionally sent him back to turn him against me, that he was no longer going to represent my case. So this is what happened when you fight for the truth. All the evidence that they lied about, all the things, I'm going to post it online. I'm going to post everything that Olsen and Melber did. That was a lie. And you be the judge. We're going to appeal this. And while we're appealing it, we're going to feed it to the news media over there. We're going to feed it to the other news media. And I'm going to tell them the truth. All because I wanted to protect my wife. I have to pay $79,000 and be punished with another $50,000 because I went after Andrew Sayer. Because he's the one they said, hire the guy. He's the one they said, push for him to go after my wife. And he's the one that pushed to sue me at the same time. All of this is Andrew Sayer. All of it. And he's going to be my centerpiece. They could have left me alone. I came to Dallas. I left them alone. And they did this to me. I suffered for 2.5 years with this. I struggled because I just wanted to go away. And they said $700, but pay penalty. I knew they were going to use that penalty to get me back anyway. But I took a bigger risk because I didn't want to give up my rights to publish the news. I didn't want to give up my rights for my wife not to be punished by Harry Melber and added John Olsen. I want everybody in New Jersey to know what I said in court records, that John Olsen was responsible for lying on this complaint. I'm going to take those court records and I'm going to publish it with his name on it. Mr. Olsen, this is not over. And we're not talking about the court. We're talking about the court of public opinion. In a way, this had to happen for God to show you. I said one man, and they're going to punish him. They're going to prosecute, they're going to lie, they're going to make up false witnesses and everything else. They would hide evidence just to target him. And they did that. And so tonight I feel alone. I have nobody to help me. All this is centered under Andrew Sayer. But Harry Melber could have ended this. John Olsen could have ended this the night before it went there. And they chose to damage my wife. This is about my wife, too. John Olsen went after my wife when he pushed the lies in this case. The lies I told the court. The lies about the New Jersey Post published it. The lies about Harry Melber showed his driver's license. The lies about I repeatedly said all of this. I didn't do any of that. I spoke once, I spoke twice, I forgot about it, and they kept digging it up. John Olsen lied in that complaint. And the public needs to know that. So when I start going to the media and I start broadcasting it and I start showing how they punish me and they try to destroy me, all because of what I did to the judge. Just remember, there was another guy by the name of Topolito. 5 judges lost their pension because of him and they punished him. I have ethics charges against Judge Capicello, Judge Miola, criminal charges I filed against Judge Miola. So all these judges eat at the same place. Get him. That's the only way I can describe this. Get him for what he did to us. Because it's on our record. So we want to get him. No way in the history of the United States has a publisher been targeted by the government of Paterson and spoke up to protect the pain of himself and his wife, and a judge is going to say we're going to add more pain to that. That's what Judge Alan Lesnewick did for, I believe, the judges in Passaic County. See, Olsen and, what's his name, Harry Melber is just benefiting from the hell that I'm going through with the judges. They're just benefiting from it. But this is far from over. Push come to shove, I have my bankruptcy, they get nothing. They get nothing. But I still reserve the right to tell my story, to write my memoirs, to write my book of what they went through in Paterson. You know what? Maybe if they didn't crucify me at the end, maybe if they didn't do this evil at the end, I wouldn't have had a good story to tell. Because Jesus' story, when he was destroyed in the end, turned out to be a good story of fighting evil and what they do to you that challenge them. My story is actually a good story in the end. I will appeal it. I will continue. Now I'm going to step up the online stuff. Because now it's all court records. Now I'm going to start calling the big medias and throwing in what they did to me. All because I opposed the government and Andrew Sayer. And this has to do with his religious faith. Because as a Christian, I exposed him for being a liar, pushing Islam and trying to get rid of Christianity. That's why he hates me. And that's why he got the Democratic Party and their judges and all the other high-powered people to target me. So Jesus Christ is on my side. And if God is on my side, maybe I'm not alone. Maybe like Jesus in the cross felt like he was alone, maybe I'm not alone. In the end, the punishment that they bestowed on me for protecting my wife, after I spoke up against their corruption in Paterson. Maybe all that will make for a good ending to show you how dangerous and how evil and how wicked they are. Harry Melber, John Olsen, connected to Andrew Sayer, connected to the judges with their own personal attacks. All of that. All John Olsen had to do was to call me back that night and says, okay, we'll take your deal. I'm not handed over to the evil judges. That's all he had to do. But he wanted to be spiteful. He wanted to be evil. And yeah, that's my opinion. All of it, what I said was my opinion. All of it. Opinion, opinion, opinion. And they didn't sue my voice. They sued an opinion, which is even more protected by the Constitution, or supposed to be. Everywhere you look, people do editorials and opinions, and that's what the bigger protection is. As soon as you said opinion or editorial, no judge can touch you. None. So how do these judges get past this? We're going to have to file it in an appeal. And you know what they were banking on also? I said I didn't have any money for an appeal. I said I didn't have any money to come to Paterson to fight this. So they figured, let's get him. If he doesn't have any money just to come back for a trial, he doesn't have any money to do an appeal. The last time they did that was $6,700. I did an appeal. And I figured out he's going to need a lawyer to get an appeal. And that's where God comes in. When this is over, I hope that God exposes them. Because you see, sometimes when you do stuff, you can't do it. I can't fight this evil. I have no voice or money or power to fight them, but God does. I heard my pastor in Times Square Church say that. I have nothing to say, but God has everything to say to you through this book. I have nothing to fight them with. I'm outgunned, I'm outnumbered, I'm legally behind, I'm out financially outgunned as well. They control all the courts. And then God steps in. Somehow Harry Melber would pay for what he did to my wife for this. I was even willing to sign away that very night before this judge, and I knew this judge was going to do this because it's the sheriff, everybody's saying that judges are gunning for you. So they benefited from that. So now tonight, notice that I feel alone. I fought for Paterson like hell. And that's why they targeted my wife. They targeted her because she was my weakness. And they knew that if they went after my weakness, I'm going to respond. So remember when I asked you if somebody spit in your wife's face, what would you do? They spit in my wife's face. Andrew Sayer is the one they said had paid for it. Harry Melber executed it. And John Olsen took it to the court and lied consistently. That's the story that's going to be across the media and across the internet. That's the story. He spit in my wife's face, horrified her, targeted her, and we never saw the video. We're going to get those videos. I'm going to report this. I'm going to file my complaints with the New Jersey state troopers who handles his license. I'm going to file with the Bar Association. I'm going to file the criminal complaints, and when I file it, I'm putting all of that on the internet. So people would know who John Olsen is, what he does to people. They're going to know who Harry Melber is, what he does to people's wives, Andrew Sayer, and the judges. It's a good story. It's a good story. But sadly, I have to be beaten down, suffered emotionally and mentally for all these years because of what they did to my wife. And now they're telling me I gotta pay $79,000 and a $50,000 damage penalty. I'm gonna penalize an opinion. That's the story here. That's when the news and media picks this up. You're penalizing a man's opinion for an Arab Muslim consummate pretending to be a Christian, where all this fight started. So, now that we have a fight going on, there's nothing to stop me now from taking all of this. If If Harry Melber was afraid of his name being out there, his name, he would have not tried to stick me with $75,000 penalty. He said he didn't want his name out there, right? Then settle. Bring it down to 5, make me feel easy. Didn't care about his name being out there because he would have never sued me in the first place. He cared about his name. Well, now it's worse. Now it's worse because now you can never stop me. Whatever you have goes to bankruptcy. My attorney said he's not going to do the Paterson case anymore. I don't care anymore. I care about my wife. My wife is more important to me than the destruction of Judge Caposello, Ernest Caposello, Judge John Miola, Judge Alan Les Newick. My wife is more important than your punishment to teach me a lesson for filing complaints against you. My wife is more important to me than Harry Melber. My wife is more important to me than John Olsen and the other attorneys. You want something to go brag and sue about? You can't. I'm coming. I'm coming to make sure that everybody knows what you did to my wife and then sue me for it, John Olsen and Harry Melber. This doesn't scare me because God said fear him, not man. And my fear is still to God. I don't fear none of you. Everything I would say from now on the internet is materials that you already know is in the court. I don't have to make anything up. I don't have to make up anything about John Olsen being a liar because that's in court documents. Harry Melber, it's all in court documents that I already filed. I don't have to make anything up of him being a liar and a deceiver and a wicked man. I already said all of that in court documents. So now we're just going to take all of that and feed it on the internet. So you have $25,000 to fine me and penalty because you are allegedly afraid and scared that I'm going to keep saying stuff. But what now? What now? Are you scared? You should be. If you're so scared that I'm going to say stuff on the internet for what you did to my wife, now you should be. Because you're not going to get it done. Because I feed it right to the bankruptcy court. So you get nothing from me. But I still get to write and tell my story. After the bankruptcy court writes you off, I move on with my life. My life. You're right, my wife. So I ask you, Paterson, if it was your wife, would you speak up? They spit in her face. They chased her down the street like she was an animal. Which is what I said. That's what they sued me, because I said they chased her down the street and they could have caused her death. And this guy, Harry Melber, shouldn't even be working in New Jersey anymore. That's what I said. This is what they fined me. And I said on an opinion. And this is what they fined me, $75,000 for 79 and punished me $50,000 for. But that's not what they punished me for. What they punished me for is the real truth, as God is my witness, the real truth that I see, in my opinion, is the complaints that I file against the judges, their friends. That's why they ruled. Harry Melber and John Olsen is just benefiting from that. Because all the lies that they told, a decent judge would have said, you know what, I don't believe this. You said the paper said something, I'm looking at the commercial paper, I don't see anything. And he gave it to me, I don't see anything. And plus it says, everything here is an opinion. I can't charge an opinion. All the Facebook posts says op-ed, opinion editorial. So they are making me pay $100 and something thousand for my opinion. Punishing my opinion. But like I said, this is a revenge ruling. And when I sell this to the media, it's going to be exactly that. The revenge ruling. So come tomorrow, I own Harry Melber's name. I will own John Olsen's name. Because I want to, because I have the right to. And we're going to say we don't own it. Well, I don't own it personally. I know who owned it, and I took it. I got it. So I don't want to say I own it personally. But somebody else did. So from now on, I'm going to be stepping up my efforts to expose this corrupted ruling, this evil and wicked ruling against my rights, my opinion, and most of all, for the protection of my wife. You know, if they hadn't targeted my wife, they went after me, I wouldn't have said anything. I don't care. But like I asked any one of you, if they spit in your wife's face, just spit in her face, what would you do? Boy, I read the comments. You'd kill somebody. I couldn't even speak up. So now you know the whole ring around. Who's involved, all the players, how they got involved, just to destroy me for speaking up in filing criminal charges against the Paterson officials and for filing ethics charges against the judges for shielding them and then getting Harry Melber to target my wife. I asked this judge, if they targeted your wife in your courtroom, what would you do? Apparently, he wouldn't do anything. Apparently, to this judge, if they targeted his wife and there was a case in his courtroom, so he could rule in their favor, otherwise they'll go after his wife, apparently he's not going to do anything. No. He's going to shut his mouth. That's what I was supposed to do, right, Judge? Shut my mouth. My opinions. My opinions is liable, apparently, in the U.S. Constitution. Apparently, in the United States now, if you make something on an opinion, you can still be sued, and that's what they're saying. This is what I went through for you, Paterson, and I left. Now I'm back. And I am going to unleash hell. I don't care if you can go back and tell the judge, I don't give a damn. It's my opinion. The Supreme Court says my opinion is freedom. I never said kill the guy. I never said I was going to break his leg. I never said I was going to bust his face. I never said I was going to hurt him. Like people are saying, if you just spit in my wife's face. I never said that. But like I said, the whole case was just to teach me a lesson and get me back for what I did to those judges. That's what this case is about. These two idiots just happen to benefit from it. But they're going to pay their price. Because from now on, we're going to start loading up all of this on the internet. Getting all the court documents over and over and start loading it up on the internet. So people would know about Harry Melber more. They would know more about John Olsen. Harry Melber is very good at digital stuff, but I'm getting better. I know now how to take stuff and get it on the first page. So anytime he thinks he wants to knock it off, I'll put more. And I'll put more. People need to know what they did to me. It's my wife. And that's why I ask you, if somebody did something to your wife, or your daughter, or your sister, and you just spit in their face, what would you do? Think about it. What would you do? It's late at night and I couldn't sleep. My wife is crying. No one in Paterson cares about me. No one enough to fight for me. The Republican Party and what's his name? Murphy? They used to care. When I had a newspaper, they used to care about me. The Republicans, and they used to put lawyers in place to defend me when I had a newspaper and they thought they could benefit from me. And now they think that they can't, but they believe that they can't. They're not helping me anymore. So these judges think that it's going to be costly for me and I can't appeal it, so I'll have to pay Harry Melber. But let me tell you something as a Christian. Harry Melber, as a Christian, God will never deliver me to my enemies, which is you and John Olsen. You did wickedness and you lied in your complaint. A false witness is a sin. A lying tongue is a sin. And I'm going to show the public and the other news media how you lied. This is a big case. It's not going to be a small case when it goes to the public. You should have accepted a lesser, instead of $25,000, $5,000 like I offered. I was not going to write anything about you again. I just wanted to live in peace. But you pushed us. So, there's no news media in this country that would know that another news media is fined $75,000 and another $50,000 and not want that story. But everything is going to be in what you did to my wife. And those videos are going to come to light. You're going to have to hand them over. And John Olsen, the lies you told, Ethics Board is going to be looking into it. You and the other attorneys. because I'm filing those complaints. You should have just let me go. Now the entire country and all these newspapers, I'm just going to keep feeding all these medias. No way they're going to know a sister or a brother media is going through this and keep it silent. Everybody's going to be broadcasting this, what happened to me. So the joke's going to be on you. And they're going to see it was an editorial and an opinion, but they're going to know why it happened to punish me for filing charges against those judges. And nobody a fool here. So Paterson, yeah, tonight I feel like I'm alone. My wife doesn't even know about this, so I freak out. They already heard her for 2.5 years. The 2.5 years she has suffered because of this case ongoing. Can't sleep, can't eat, both of us have gone through it. And now this. So, all I can tell you is just wait for chapter 2. I left. And now I'm back. I'm going to start loading up everything on the internet and making sure people are very well aware of Harry Melber and John Olsen and how he lied. The lies is what bothers me the most. And withholding evidence is what bothers me. Everything that I said in court documents, I can now say it online, but I'm trying to sue me again. If this was Texas, they'll never get away with it. And when the people in Texas and the women's group found out what they did to a woman because of her husband's occupation, wait till that happens. So I'm going to start calling up Fox News and the other big news medias and showing them what they did, exactly who Harry Melber is, exactly who John Olsen is. See, when I put something up on the internet, it goes up and it can be removed when you Google their name, if they keep trying to do that. But when it goes to the larger news medias and all over, they can't remove that. So from tomorrow, I'm going to start feeding it to all the big networks, show them what they did to my civil rights. I was stripped and why I was stripped. From Andrew Sayer, to Harry Melber, to John Olsen and his other attorney people, and the judges and why they did this to me, took away my rights. My wife is safe for now. They can't hurt her. They can't touch her, hopefully. I've informed the police department here, and so they know if they try to fly here to Dallas and do something to us, we still have that fear. But know this, Paterson, was it worth it? I'd have to refer to Jesus on the cross and ask him, was it worth it? That's the only answer that I can give you. Was it worth the cross, the beating, the dying, the false witness, the lying against you? When you're on the cross, did you feel it? Did you feel it was worth it? When you laid on that cross and nobody was there for you. You were there alone. Did you feel it was worth it? And that's why I am. It was only after his death, hundreds of years later, and now it's worth it. I don't see that yet, because I'm kind of like this, dealing with their blood and their lies. So I'll tell you after this is all over if it was worth fighting them and not surrendering my rights to tell the truth. I'm being punished for it, for protecting my wife. This is Serrano. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.